It's Man Movie. And here we are again.
Hey, Chris.
Hello, Lyle. And may I say good day to you?
Good day.
Wait, that's Australian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how
Throw
people...
another shrimp on the Barbie.
I don't know how people in jolly old England greet each other.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, governor.
Hello, governor.
Yeah, everyone's governor.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason we're dressed clearly like authentic English folk is because we reviewed a movie that's set in merry old England. And that movie is from 1971, directed by Sam Peckinpah, starring Dustin Hoffman, Susan George, and some other folks. It's called Straw Dogs.
Straw Dogs.
I don't really know
Whole lot
why it's called Straw Dogs. We're not even going to get into the title because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I never figured that out.
Yeah. Dustin Hoffman plays what's referred to as a nebbish. And I think that's a Yiddish word, if I'm not mistaken, for sort of a bookish, kind of a smaller guy, maybe a weakling, so to speak. He's a math professor, and he's got a very attractive, beautiful English wife, played by Susan George. Mm-hmm. And they are moving into a cottage. It's a family cottage in her hometown, somewhere in rural England. And this is the kind of town where everybody knows everybody. Not a lot of outsiders are welcome there, and I think Dustin, his character, feels that right away. He feels a little unwelcome. He feels a little out of place. Mm-hmm. And so he's having a little bit of a tough time dealing with that. And to make matters worse, Susan George's character, she runs into her old boyfriend, and this guy is not a nebbish. This guy is a big, beefy, strong, strapping man of a man. He's a man's man.
Yeah, he's got good hair.
Great 70s, dry, feathered, wavy hair, strong jaw, a little bit of a cleft jaw, broad shoulders.
Dustin Hoffman, he's got great hair too.
That is true.
Great hair.
Dustin Hoffman does have great hair. This is not a great hair contest.
No, yeah. We're not here to talk about hair.
The hair has nothing at all to do with the story, unless he might have won her over with his hair. We don't know. They're already married. They're newlyweds. I don't want to be crude, but she is a nice-looking lady.
Great tits.
Well, I didn't want to go there, but you.
We can
there.
show them now.
She has a lovely figure, and the boys around the village, they haven't seen her in a few years, and they're noticing that from the time she left the village to marry Dustin Hoffman, she went from a pretty little girl to a pretty hot piece of female
woman.
Another way of saying that is woman.
There was once a time, Mrs. Sumner, when you were ready to beg me for it.
Take your hands off me.
He notices that the guys in the village are giving his wife a little too much attention, maybe a little bit inappropriate level of attention, especially her former boyfriend.
And meanwhile, he hires all these people to fix the roof of his house.
He hires these guys because...
That's his first wrong move.
There's not a Home Depot with a bunch of Mexicans he can throw in the back of a truck. You got to deal with the hometown boys. And he doesn't know how to hammer a nail from a hole in the wall.
Yeah, he's a book nerd, you know?
Yeah, he's a mathematician.
Smart guy.
And his excuse for wanting to move out into the country is because he wanted to be someplace where he could have peace and quiet, and work on some math project that he's been given a grant to pursue.
Peace and quiet.
Peace and quiet. And you know what? That's just about the last thing that he gets.
He should have stayed in New York City if he wanted peace and quiet.
All the while, they're checking out his hot wife, like right in front of him, letting him see it, emasculating him in front of his pretty young wife.
Yeah.
They're kind of pushing his buttons just a little bit, never outwardly just challenging him, but, you know, they play some pranks on him. One of the pranks really, I guess the second to worst prank they played on him was somebody got into his bedroom when he wasn't around and murdered the family cat. And
That's a prank?
well, this is a long time ago when people didn't value pets as much. I don't condone animal abuse. This was not a real cat.
Yeah.
At no time on the set did Sam Peckinpah hurt any animals, as far as I know.
Probably not.
I think
it looked pretty real, though, I gotta say.
I don't think it looked real.
You didn't think it looked
I thought
real?
it looked like a fake prop cat.
Oh, I thought it looked pretty good.
Really?
From what I remember.
Well, we'll have the image on the screen.
All right, we'll pull it up.
Maybe in the comments section, vote on whether you think a real cat was murdered on the set or not.
Yeah.
We shouldn't make light of cat murder. I really don't like animal abuse.
It's fine. Who cares?
I don't think any
They're
animals
just
died.
cats.
Anyway, it was 1971. This cat would have been long dead by now anyway, of natural causes.
Exactly. You might as well just kill it for the fun of it.
And he was an older cat, too. And also, you made a point about the... they don't know who killed the cat.
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
We're making a lot of presumptions about the death of the cat because anytime I've seen a noose around a neck, we presume, okay, suicide. Yet somehow with the cat, we just overlook the possibility?
You're insinuating that this cat committed suicide?
I think so.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know for sure. But I'm saying it's possible, and they've ruled it out, and he blames it on the townsfolk, and I say,
this cat might have had problems.
Who knows? Yeah.
For one
he was
thing,
depressed.
He was out of work because there were rats all over the place, and clearly he wasn't getting the job done. Maybe that was some kind of a personal slight he felt.
He lived in a closet. If I lived in a closet, I might kill myself.
You're trying to say the cat was gay?
No. He literally lived in the closet.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being a gay cat with mental illness.
No.
Now they got a problem. This is something Dustin can't ignore. He could ignore a few smiles and winks at his wife, pretend he didn't see it, but he can't pretend he doesn't see a cat hanging from his bedroom closet. That's something you cannot ignore.
That was the turning point in the film.
I think so. And his wife said to him, you know who did this? Don't pretend you don't know. It wasn't some stranger that came in off the street. It was these guys. They were trying to show you that they can get into your bedroom.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, let's not pass judgment. Let's cool our heads here, and I'll try to figure it out. I'll talk to the guys,
Yeah.
But in reality, he's being a coward.
He's being a coward.
He doesn't want to deal with this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I believe, turns his wife off.
Mm-hmm.
I think she almost wants to end the marriage if you were to ask her at that point. I think she loses her attraction for Dustin. And I think that is very evident in the worst prank, the number one worst prank they pulled on Dustin, which was when they pretended they wanted to be his friend, lured him away from the house on this pheasant hunt. He's out
pranks. These are intense pranks.
Back then, they used to prank hard. They wouldn't do this anymore.
It wasn't your refrigerators running.
This is a serious prank. So they take him out. They have him waving a gun in the air on this pheasant hunt. Meanwhile, her ex-boyfriend, knowing Dustin's out in the woods with a gun, doesn't know what's going on. He sneaks back to the house where Dustin's wife is at, invites himself in, and then makes his way with her.
He rapes her.
May I come in?
All right. You like a drink?
I love one.
Now, this
Debatable.
is a very controversial scene. I read a little bit about this.
This is
movie's
controversial.
50 years old, so I had to read the reviews of the time, and the way they shot the scene, it starts out as a rape, but there's a certain point where she seems to be enjoying the experience. And she's rubbing him on his face, rubbing his arm. It seems like the filmmaker is trying to say, like, look, Dustin lost his wife when he didn't act like a man. And here's a real man who, he might kill cats, but he also kills pussy.
That's another type of pussy.
Yeah. Good job picking that up.
Oh, is that what you were going for?
She never tells her husband that she got raped.
Yeah.
I remember I watched this years ago, and I'd forgotten a lot of the details. And in my mind,
She knows how to keep a secret.
Yeah. In my mind, Dustin Hoffman loses it because he finds out his wife was raped, but he never finds that out. What does happen, though, is a completely unrelated event happens in town. There's this sort of I don't know what he is. He's sort of a low IQ, kind of a monster that lives in the town, and everyone hates him for some reason.
He seems to have some sort of sordid sexual deviant past.
Right. He might
like
have
that's kind of what they allude to, but they never get specific.
Yeah.
Your brother been hanging around the girls again. You'd better keep a closer watch or we'll be putting him away.
It's all right, Pa. He's only throwing the ball to him a little.
A little is too much for that sod.
So he gets mixed up with one of the young girls in town who, I don't know what her deal was either. She seemed to really like male attention.
Yeah.
She was young. I don't know how old she was, maybe 14, 15. I think actually they said at some point, I think she was 15.
Yeah.
And she goes off with the town rapist, and they go off to a barn together, and at a certain point, people notice that she's missing.
We don't know where she is. We looked the whole time.
Keep looking.
The fog's coming down.
Did you try the lorries and such?
Charlie and his friends go after this guy. He hears them coming after and has like a Linny moment from Of Mice and Men and accidentally strangles her.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, Dustin Hoffman is driving his wife home from some church meeting. They end up hitting this guy accidentally in the road because it's a foggy night.
The
pervert guy who
killed.
We don't know that he's a pervert. That's the accusation.
Yeah.
He hits this guy, and then Dustin Hoffman, being a kind-hearted guy, he's like, all right, we got to get this guy back home and take care of him. He doesn't know anything about him accidentally murdering a girl. He just hits a guy in the road, and he has to take him home and take care of him.
And then Dustin calls the bar looking for Henry's...
He's looking for a doctor. He says, I've got
looking
Henry.
for a doctor.
I hit this guy, and I need a doctor. He doesn't know that he's wanted.
Why does he call the bar? What the fuck's he doing?
Well, that's what you do. You call the tavern. Everybody knows everybody in this little
town.
Okay. It's
not
like they had an operator and a
but imagine if I
hospital.
did that right now. Like, I need a doctor, and I go, I'm going to call the bar.
Yeah.
And I call the bar.
Back then, people didn't have cell phones. You wanted to get in touch with somebody.
I guess
you
that's true.
The one tavern in town and be like, hey, have you seen this guy? Have you seen the doctor?
Yeah. And so these guys were at the bar getting wasted, and they were suspicious that, like, oh, Henry had something to do with it.
You hit Henry Niles with his car. He's got him up in trenches.
Bottle. And another.
So they all are half drunk. They head over to Dustin's house.
Load up the pitchforks.
They're thinking, all right, Dustin, he's a pushover.
He's a pussy.
He lets people rape his wife and doesn't do anything about it. You can kill his pets.
You can kill his
He's
cats.
not going to stop us from retrieving a rapist out of his living room.
Yeah, come on.
Listen, Mr. Sumner. We come to get this bloody freak. We're gonna get him. With your cooperation or without it.
David, stop it!
But every man has his breaking point. He'd had enough of these guys, and he had to make a stand.
Yeah.
He was not going to let them take this guy out and murder him, because he knew that's what they were going to do. They were drunk. They were going to kill this guy.
They were going to murder Henry.
He doesn't know Henry literally did murder a girl, accidentally maybe, but...
Give them Niles, David.
They'll beat him to death.
I don't care.
You don't care, do you?
So it sort of turns into Home Alone.
It turns into Home Alone.
Where Dustin decides, I must defend this house. I will not let violence be committed against this house.
No. I care. This is where I live. This is me. I will not allow violence against this house.
And the situation escalates and escalates and escalates. And I don't want to give it away, but it gets pretty bloody.
That guy's head gets chopped off with a bear trap.
Yeah, a bear trap is involved.
That's what it's come down to.
The math professor takes a sabbatical.
Yeah,
and
he does the math.
He does the math. He adds it all up.
He adds it up. He subtracts a few people.
He subtracts a few people. He divides one guy.
He divides a guy. Dustin went full crazy.
Yeah.
But in the best possible way.
Yeah. He
in
regains,
the best possible way.
Or gains for the first time, maybe, his masculinity.
I think so, yeah. I think that's what it... and he did a great job. And it's about an American going over to Britain and kicking some British ass.
Exactly. Maybe you forgot the ass whipping you took in 1776.
Yeah. Well, Dusty is here to remind you.
You start raping wives and hanging cats, and I'll have to remind you again.
Yeah.
So try to stay in line.
Yeah.
England.
Yeah. Psh, this fucking thing off my
This fucking bullshit.
head. Yeah. Where's our NASCAR caps?
Well, it's a hell of a movie.
Yeah,
hell of
great
a man movie. I'm glad we watched and reviewed it, and you should watch it too. And leave some comments if you think the cat committed suicide or whatever you want to say. Leave some comments. We enjoy it.
And Straw Dogs is a man movie.